Hi, so I'm Georgia. I am 31 and I live in London. Before the course, I worked in kind of luxury watch and jewellery retail for 12 years, something like that. My dad was a software engineer and has spent a lot of time trying to get me into it, and I've always kind of shunned it. And then when I did finally try it, realised that I actually really enjoyed it. And so that kind of led me to doing a boot camp. I guess I was in a relatively unique position where my dad and I were hoping to kind of start our own business together. So it was for me to have a structured learning environment where I would cover kind of the fundamentals and then also learn how to take that knowledge into real life and build websites and things like that. So for me, it was finding something that kind of offered the support alongside the knowledge that I already had. Again, it kind of all links back to my dad, and I promise my dad doesn't make my life decisions for me because it kind of sounds like that now. But no, basically he had worked with someone called Chris who had done a boot camp a few years ago. He said that arol was the most redeeming quality about the other boot camp. He said that he was the best instructor by a mile, was the most supportive, and kind of genuinely said if it wasn't for him, he doesn't think he would have done as well during the course and outside of the course. So it was kind of pretty much a decision made from there. And arol got back to me really quickly, booked a call in really quickly. And in comparison to the other boot camps that I kind of reached out to, arol.dev by far was the most communicative, most supportive during the process as well. And it just kind of felt like if that's the way they were during the application process, it was a good sign for how they would be during the bootcamp. I went into it with a very, very basic understanding of JavaScript, but not a lot else, and not a lot of kind of functional stuff in terms of building a website or things like that. And I've come out of it feeling quite comfortable with pretty much every topic that was covered during the course, to the point that on the project that my dad and I are now working on, I've been left to do the front end and React side of things because he's never done it before and he doesn't know how to. And despite having 30 odd years experience in computer programming, I'm teaching him things, which is a pretty cool outcome from a 12-week boot camp. But he actually, and I don't know whether you can pull it up, but he posted about the boot camp on his LinkedIn, because he's been obviously off of my feedback, but obviously off of seeing how much I've learned and what I'm now able to do compared to when I first started. He was really, really impressed and kind of really applauded arol and everyone at arol.dev. So at the moment, I am working on a project with my dad. He is a co-founder of a company. And so we've been looking at kind of redesigning their website and updating it. So we're trying to streamline it and just have it a bit more legible should anyone else come in and need to look at the code and make sense of it. But I'm also about to start applying for kind of junior software engineering roles, so that's kind of next up for me. Everyone was really friendly, and also everyone was just eager to learn. I guess when you choose to do something that's as intense as this bootcamp is, you would hope that everyone is kind of motivated and wants to succeed, and that's definitely the kind of attitude I got from everyone I was working with. Although it was hard work, it was also really enjoyable. I was remote. There was 4 of us that were remote and 2 that were on site, and it was seamless in terms of learning and in terms of integrating with one another. So essentially there was 4 of us on the junior part of the course when I first started, and after we finished there's kind of a final assessment, and arol basically spoke to me and said, look, you can progress to the senior part of the course, or you can retake it at no additional cost to yourselves. And kind of after speaking to my dad, we both kind of agreed that when else in life are you going to be offered 6 weeks of free education in the field that you want to go into? And it kind of made sense to do it. For me, being able to redo those whole 6 weeks and knowing exactly what was coming, I think meant that I set myself up much better. And I think all 4 of us did, to be honest. All 4 of us were set up much better for going ahead and doing the senior part. I really enjoyed the course. As hard as it was, I found it really rewarding. And I think especially redoing the junior part of it, for me, solidified so much of my learning. And I think had I not done that, maybe I would have struggled a bit more in the senior side. My words of advice would be go to as many of the kind of coding live sessions and things like that before the course as you can, because watching arol work is genuinely like watching a wizard perform magic. Like, he's just insane, but he's so good at explaining what he's doing as he does it that you come away from it kind of thinking like, oh, that's not that hard. And then you try it on your own and you realize that actually it is. But it was definitely those kind of pre-course sessions I found really, really helpful. And I think it definitely gave a good insight into what the teaching would be like on the course. Don't be afraid to ask the instructors for help. I think I am quite stubborn and kind of really had a thing about, I want to work this out for myself. But actually, if someone explains it to you and then you understand it, it's a much more effective way of getting things done. Take the jump sessions, go away, move your body. You come back with such a clear head after you've actually taken some time out. I would say absolutely worth joining if software engineering is something that you do want to get into. For me, I feel like after the boot camp, I would quite comfortably be able to do a junior software engineer's job. And going into the boot camp, that's not something I would have been able to say. So it definitely gave me the results that I was hoping for.